Hi, this is Prince. So I'm here to show you how you can use 4 push buttons to control a character, let's say X or A or any character of choice on an LCD screen. So I'll be using the push buttons and the LCD with I2C. So let's get right into the code. I included the Y library and the LCD I2C library, which will help us communicate with the I2C. So now I wrote down the address for my LCD and the number of rows and columns. So the pins are defined. So for my up push button, I use pin 2, the down pin 3, left pin 4, and right pin 5. The initial coordinates of X is being plotted as 0, 0. And now let's move on to the void setup. So in the void setup, I initiated the LCD with LCD begin, right, and cleared the screen. So now all the push buttons are set to input pull-up so that they can take or use the internal resistance of the Arduino Uno. And the function which I made called update is being called here in the void setup. So now moving to the void loop. So I set a condition that if a button is pressed, there should be an increment or a decrease in the number of rows or columns depending on the button, and I added a delay of 0.2 seconds to avoid debouncing, or meaning there shouldn't be multiple movements when you press one button. So now in the void updates, which I mentioned earlier, it clears the screen and sets the cursor or the character to the current location or current coordinate of X and prints X onto the LCD screen. So now let's see how it works. Basically the connections for the project I was talking about. So now I connected the push buttons to the defined pins in my code. That's pin 2, 3, 4, and 5. So, and I connected another jumper wire from to ground, right? So one pin of the push button is connected to ground and another to the designated digital pin. And for the connection of the LCD, you connect 5 volts to VCC, ground to ground, and pin SDA and SC, L2, A4 and A5. But in my case, I used the inbuilt SDA and the SCL buttons pins for the connection. So as you can see, it works here. So now let's go ahead and check whether the code runs perfectly. So now you see when I push this button here, it goes down here. Okay, so that's